There's a Democrat moving forward with this resolution to impeach President Trump as well.
Yeah, and that resolution doesn't look like it has the buy-in even from his fellow Democrats. So this member of Congress has put this resolution on the floor. He's a House Democrat, Sheree Tenlander. He has put it on the floor. It will be tabled most likely in a vote tonight because Democratic leadership have signaled that they will join Republicans, and Democratic members of the House will as well, to table this motion to impeach President Trump. It doesn't have the support of House Democratic leadership, but it is a resolution that this individual member says is a long time coming. And frankly, he promises to continue to bring it up over and over and over again based on what he says are the objections he has with this administration and President Trump.
Welcome to Dr. John Exclusive Podcast. The House is on the floor right now, cameras rolling, voting on whether to send impeachment articles to the Senate. Formal charges of abuse of power and defiance of court orders. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. This is Trump's third impeachment. Let that sink in for a moment. 3 separate times, the House has moved to impeach this president. The first was over Ukraine. The second was over January 6th. Both times, the Senate acquitted him.
As House Republicans advance pieces of their mega bill with party line votes, Democrats are beginning to hone their message in opposition. Take a listen to Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries this morning.
Republicans are really pushing an extreme agenda at this point in time, directed by Donald Trump. And unfortunately, what we've seen is that Republicans in the Congress continue to simply be a rubber stamp as opposed to standing up for the best interests of their constituents.
Both times he survived. He stayed in office. He kept fighting. But this time is different. This time, the charges are not about a phone call or a speech. They are about something more fundamental. They are about whether a president can defy the courts, whether a president can act like the law does not apply to him.
Now is Pennsylvania Democratic Congressman Brendan Boyle. He is a member of the House Ways and Means Committee and spent the night in markup for this tax and spending package. I know you are bleary-eyed today. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. You were up all night with the Ways and Means Committee with all Democratic amendments being defeated.
Whether a president can abuse the powers of his office without consequence. And the evidence for these charges is not hidden. It is not speculative. It is documented. It is in court records. It is in federal judges threatening to issue arrest warrants for the Attorney General. It is in the Bondi scandal, where the Department of Justice is accused of covering up the Epstein files. It is in the massive tariff lawsuit filed by 24 states challenging executive overreach that the Supreme Court already said was unconstitutional. It is in the contempt findings piling up against an administration that treats judicial orders as suggestions. All of it is feeding into these impeachment articles. All of it is building a case that is becoming harder and harder to defend. And the White House knows it. The administration is in chaos. Staff are quitting. Scandals are multiplying. The president is spending his days attacking judges on social media instead of governing. And now Congress is moving to remove him. So let us walk through exactly what is happening, why this impeachment is fundamentally different from the previous two, and why Donald Trump is genuinely terrified that this time he might not survive. The first thing you need to understand is the difference between impeachment and removal. A lot of people get this wrong. Impeachment is a formal accusation. It is the House saying, we believe the president has committed offenses that warrant removal. It is essentially an indictment. The House votes, and if the articles pass, the president is impeached. But impeachment does not remove the president. That comes later. After impeachment, the process moves to the Senate. The Senate holds a trial. The House managers present the case. The president's lawyers defend him. Witnesses testify. Evidence is presented. And then the Senate votes. If 2/3 of the senators vote to convict, the president is removed from office. His presidency ends. The vice president becomes president. So today's vote in the House is step 1. But step 2, the Senate trial, is where the real decision gets made. And that is what Trump is terrified of, because he knows he does not have guaranteed support in the Senate. He knows there are Republicans who are genuinely uncomfortable with what he has done. He knows there are Republicans who think he has crossed a line. And if enough of them vote to convict, he is out. Now, let us talk about what Trump is actually being impeached for. The articles are about abuse of power and defiance of court orders. These are not vague, philosophical charges. They are specific, documented, and provable. Abuse of power means using the presidency in ways that violate the Constitution. It means taking actions that the president is not authorized to take. And the evidence here is overwhelming. The Bondi scandal is a prime example. Bondi, Trump's attorney general, is accused of covering up the Epstein files, of hiding information from Congress, of using the Department of Justice to protect powerful people instead of enforcing the law. That is abuse of power. That is using the executive branch for personal and political purposes, not for the public good. The tariff lawsuit is another example. Trump issued tariffs without congressional authorization, even after the Supreme Court explicitly ruled that he did not have that authority. He tried to do it again with a different legal theory, ignoring what the court had said. That is abuse of power. That is acting like the president can do whatever he wants, regardless of what the Constitution says or what the courts rule. Defiance of court orders means ignoring judges. And the evidence here is also overwhelming. Federal judges have been threatening Trump's officials with arrest for weeks. They have documented hundreds of violations of court orders. They have said in open court that the administration is lying to them, stonewalling them, treating their orders as optional. And Trump's response has been to attack the judges on social media, calling them crooked, calling them a disgrace, acting like their authority does not matter. That is not how the system works. The system works because the executive branch follows court orders. When the president decides that he does not have to follow what judges say, the system breaks down. And that breakdown is exactly what the impeachment articles are addressing. Now let us talk about the Senate trial, because that is where Trump's fate will actually be decided. If the House passes the articles today, the process moves immediately to the Senate. The trial will likely begin in early April. The House managers will present their case. Trump's lawyers will present their defense. Witnesses will testify. Documents will be entered into evidence. The entire country will be watching. And then the Senate will vote. 67 votes are needed to convict and remove. With the current Senate makeup, that means all Democrats plus 17 Republicans would have to vote yes. That is a high bar, but it is not impossible. It depends on whether enough Republicans decide that Trump has gone too far. Some Republicans are already saying publicly that they are concerned. Some Republicans think Trump has violated the Constitution. Some Republicans think the rule of law matters more than party loyalty. Those Republicans might vote to convict. Others will vote to acquit no matter what, calling the impeachment a witch hunt, a political attack, an overreach by Congress. The outcome is genuinely uncertain. It could go either way. And that uncertainty is what is driving Trump absolutely crazy. He is not confident. He is not sure he has the votes. He is watching his support erode, watching Republicans distance themselves, watching the scandals pile up. And he knows that if the Senate trial goes badly, if the evidence is overwhelming, if public opinion turns against him, he could actually be removed. That has never happened before. No sitting president in American history has ever been removed through impeachment. Andrew Johnson came close in the 1860s, but he survived by one vote. Bill Clinton was impeached, but the Senate acquitted him. Trump himself has been impeached twice and acquitted twice. But this time is different. This time, removal is a real possibility. This time, the charges are so clear, the evidence so documented, the defiance so blatant that enough senators might finally say enough. And if that happens, if the Senate convicts, Trump becomes the first president in American history to be removed from office. The vice president becomes president. Trump loses all the protections and privileges of the presidency. And the legal consequences that have been waiting for him, the criminal investigations, the state prosecutions, the civil lawsuits, all of them come immediately. There is no shield anymore. There is no immunity. There is just accountability. That is what Trump is facing. That is what is happening right now. As the House debates on the floor, as the votes are being counted, as the cameras capture every moment of this historic day. But let us also talk about why this moment is so significant beyond Trump himself, because this is about something larger than one president. This is about the structure of American government. This is about whether the separation of powers still means anything. This is about whether a president can defy court orders without consequence. This is about whether Congress can actually check executive power. The founders put impeachment in the Constitution for exactly this reason. They knew that there might come a time when a president would try to make himself above the law. They knew that the system needed a way to hold that president accountable. They created impeachment as the ultimate check, and now that check is being used. If Trump survives impeachment, if the Senate acquits him, what does that say? It says that a president can defy court orders and get away with it. It says that a president can abuse power and face no consequences. It says that the Constitution is not a limit on executive authority, but a suggestion that can be ignored. That is a dangerous message. That is a message that will echo for generations. If Trump is removed, if the Senate convicts him, what does that say? It says that the system works. It says that no one is above the law. It says that when a president crosses the line, Congress will act. That is also a message that will echo for generations. It is a message about accountability. It is a message about the rule of law. It is a message about what kind of country we are. This impeachment is based on real, documented charges. Abuse of power and defiance of court orders are not political talking points. They are specific constitutional violations backed by evidence. Federal judges have documented the defiance. Court records show the abuse. The Bondi scandal is on the record. The tariff lawsuit is in the courts. This is not a witch hunt. This is Congress responding to actual violations of the Constitution. The Senate trial could go either way. Trump does not have guaranteed support. There are Republicans who are genuinely uncomfortable with what he has done. There are Republicans who think he has crossed the line. If enough of them vote to convict, Trump is removed. That is a real possibility, not a hypothetical. And that possibility is why Trump is terrified. This is happening at the worst possible time for Trump. His administration is in chaos. Bondi is facing resignation calls. The tariff lawsuit is moving forward. Federal judges are threatening jail. Scandals are multiplying. And now impeachment. All of it is converging at once, overwhelming the administration, making it impossible to govern, and feeding into the case for removal. This is fundamentally about constitutional limits on presidential power. It is not just about Trump. It is about whether any president can defy court orders, abuse power, and act like the law does not apply. It is about whether Congress can check the executive branch. It is about whether the Constitution still means what it says. Those are the questions being answered right now in real time in the House, in the Senate, in the constitutional process. So what comes next? The House votes today. If the articles pass, the process moves to the Senate. The trial will happen in early April. Both sides will present their cases. Witnesses will testify. Documents will be entered. And then the Senate votes. 67 votes are needed to convict and remove. If the Senate acquits, Trump stays in office. But he is not vindicated. He survives, but his presidency is damaged. His authority is weakened, and the scandals keep coming. If the Senate convicts, Trump is removed. The vice president becomes president. And Trump faces all the legal consequences that have been waiting for him without the shield of the presidency. Either outcome is possible. Both are on the table. And the uncertainty, the genuine doubt about what will happen, is what is driving Trump absolutely crazy. He is not confident. He is not sure he will survive. He is afraid, and he should be, because this is a genuinely historic moment. This is the kind of moment that defines a presidency, the kind of moment that gets written about in history books for decades, the kind of moment that shapes how future generations understand American politics. We are watching the constitutional system test whether a president can be held accountable, whether Congress can check executive power, whether the rule of law applies to a sitting president. And the answers to those questions are being determined right now in the House, in the Senate, in the votes that are happening today. The House is debating, the cameras are rolling, the votes are being counted. And Donald Trump, the man who thought he was above the law, the man who believed he could do anything and get away with it, is watching it all unfold. And he is terrified because he knows that this time it might not work out for him. This time he might not survive. Stay tuned, because this is about to get exponentially more intense than anything we have seen before.